Welcome, everyone. We have made it, we think, maybe.
Woohoo! All right, we are
Trying out
here.
our new tech gear. Woo, woo, woo.
All righty. Very fun.
Well, I'm Jaylyn, and I'm here with the Heart Mind Center as the resident astrologer and yogi. And
Nice. And I'm Johanna Navari Welch, and I'm here as myself, I'm a Heart Mind Center teacher, and on the board at Heart Mind Center, and bringing this beautiful festival life to you.
and you're a mindful mama for sure.
Yes, a mindful mama, yes, and wife, and entrepreneur.
Yeah, yes.
So,
We like to mix it up.
absolutely. A Jill of all trades.
Thank you. Well, shall we?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's get started. Do we
Okay.
have a bell? Do we have a chime? I have a little something. Let's see if this works. Maybe. I don't know.
What does it look like? It sounds. Oh, that's so cool! It's a star wand.
It's a star wand. Yes.
Here, I'll see what this sounds like.
Let me see. Oh, that's beautiful.
Does it sound okay?
That's beautiful. That's much more earthy and of the autumnness. Yes. Yeah.
It goes well with the star thingy.
Absolutely. My wand is more of a dreamy, summery type of
Yeah.
thing.
or full moon type thing.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome.
Yeah. So, should we give it a few moments and just chit chat while we wait for people to gather, or just jump in?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's wait a couple minutes.
Yeah. My full moon so far has been really quite amazing. Cool dreams. I would say even lucid dreams. First time ever. How about you? How was your night?
It was good. It was a nice. I didn't really see much in my dreams. I didn't really remember much when I woke, and then I realized that if I would have woke a couple hours earlier, I would have seen the beautiful blood moon. But I didn't see it. Although there's some impending storms here in Florida once again, and the sky before it got really dark tonight was that really. I mean, it was beautiful. It's a storm sky, but it's beautifully like with the purples and the deeper purples and oranges almost. So
the beautiful colors of the storm coming.
Yeah. I definitely think there's storming. I mean, for me, I'm feeling there's a lot of stuff going on. Outside of us.
Absolutely. I have to just hop and let my cats out because they're like getting. I don't know how they got in here. They were naughty. Hey, kitties,
Awesome.
go out. Right. Made it.
Yay.
Yeah. So where should we begin? Do you want to hear about that wildness in the sky, or would you like to start with some Martinmas intro and explanation?
Let's do some Martinmas intro and explanation. And I like how the flow last time. I like how we talked about the festival, and then we went into the moons, and then we went, you did a little bit of meditation at the end. That was really beautiful. And I think that flowed really well.
Awesome.
Something that's fun. So yeah, so I'll just touch on Martinmas a little bit. So Martinmas is a festival that falls halfway between Michaelmas, which we talked about the last time, and Christmas. And so if that's a holiday that you celebrate, but the time of year, so right in the middle. And the stories come from possibly different lineages, but the story itself of Martinmas is Martin, who was in the army, whether it's the Roman army or was in France, however wherever you like to, wherever it came from. But he was with his army, and he was going across a bridge, and there was a beggar, somebody in ragged clothes underneath the bridge, and he stopped, and just out of his own volition stopped, and he took his sword out, and he took his cloak, and he sliced his cloak in two. So he had his one half of his cloak, then he wrapped the beggar in the cloak, and so gave him warmth. And then that night, the story goes is that he had a vision of an angel with that cloak on, with the other half of the cloak on, and there was lanterns, and there was this light path for him. And so that story sort of sits with this the kindness and the compassion and the helping of somebody who's in a state of perhaps at this time isolation, or a state of what happens when the darker nights set in. So there's this, it can be a loneliness, or even some depression kind of hits in, and even illness. I mean, we know that. I mean, as a mom of young children, and the celebrations of the end of October, and they go into, there's lots of candy and lots of, this starts this avalanche of what could be sickness. I mean, there's some call it the flu season, some call it some call it the candy season, but it goes into this the illness. So this inner light and this way of caring for others, and this compassion is this time of this season. And the lanterns, that beautiful symbol of warmth and hope and love, which is the lantern, that comes in with lantern walks. And I think that might have, it goes with the story of Martin and Martinmas. I think that was more of a German holiday maybe that came about. In the Waldorf schools, we celebrated the lantern walk with the youngest of children. And we would light the lanterns. We'd have a lovely songs to go along with that I can sing one for you tonight. But so we would light the lantern, and we'd go walking as a group and sing songs throughout the neighborhood. By wherever we were, or we went through paths. At one school, we went through some wooded paths, but leading that light, sending the light off into others is a really big part of this season.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so that's what Martinmas is.
You're going to sing us a song?
Yeah, I can sing you a song.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, these are some of the songs. So in the early childhood of a Waldorf school, the songs, of course, singing is very, is very important, and moving, of course, as well. And so we would have our lantern walk songs, which I love the lantern walk songs and lanterns. So, okay, are you ready? All right, here we go. The sunlight fast is dwindling. My little lamp needs kindling. Its beam shines bright on the darkest night. Dear lantern, guide me with your light.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Johanna.
You're welcome.
That's lovely. I love songs.
So it's a great, so it's a great time. And, as far as festivals and celebration, of course, we have the, whatever comes up for you at this time, and at any age, whether you have children or not children, or you're you're an adult, giving and helping, and those who who may not ask for it, they're the ones mostly always in the most need. So helping those around us, and really shining our inner light and our gifts. Like we all have gifts that we shine, and extending those outward is really the season and the festivals.
That's so interesting too, because like Scorpio season is a time of going deeply inside and getting to know the skeletons in the closet, and shining your light, and trying to air things out, and try to figure out, what do I do with this, and how do I want to go forward. So it's cool to see the interweaving of the idea of giving is receiving, almost like giving to a stranger ends up being like an angel, and that's crosses traditions, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love that. And there's the symbolism of the cloak is really beautiful as well as there's the two halves of the cloak. So one's more of an earthly, physical warmth symbolism, and then the other is more of a spiritual, the generosity of it. And so you
Mm.
can look at that as also those two halves. And so in this school and in story, we tell these stories that are you know, as adults, we're holding the festival or holding the celebration, holding the feelings, the emotions, and so then the children feel that they feel the energy. They're
Mhm.
able
Oh,
to be
yeah.
coming to come with us, and we carry them along with that. So,
Absolutely.
which I
I
think
love that
is
image.
so
Yeah.
neat. And yeah, which is really great. And I definitely, and I see that the more I read about the Scorpio and the time of, and the full moon and the blood moon, there's all these synergies, like we found out last time with Michaelmas, there's all these synergies that happen,
Mm.
and in the astro world. So,
Hmm.
but you can share
Yeah.
more with us.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like this moon, the more I dig into it and the more I look into what my teachers are saying, it's incredibly wild energy. The way Uranus is joining the moon and opposite the sun, and Mercury and Venus are around the sun, and it's really changing things up on the inside.
Mm.
And yet at the same time, all we really need to do is to get centered and grounded and be still, be loving, be forgiving, find that gratitude and that ability to reach across the aisle. I mean, think about it. Today is
Mm-hmm.
the voter, midterm election, and I was thinking about it when I went to vote, and how there's all these people helping,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
though they have their affiliations, I'm sure that they probably try not to share that with their other volunteers so that they can be able to see eye to eye and not be like, oh, is my team going to win or is your team going to win?
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of having that, these volunteers, and I'm completely guessing,
Yeah.
but it felt to me that it was an even playing field and there wasn't a lot of judgments or vote for my team or anything like that with the
Yeah.
volunteers. And so I see that what you're saying, I see that they had to do that a little bit, to
Mm-hmm.
step outside of their opinions and honor me no matter what I was voting for as
Mm-hmm.
just a fellow citizen to just say, yeah, here you go. Here's your
Absolutely.
ticket or whatever.
That's so neat that you said that though, because I felt the same. I felt actually that the equanimity comes to mind is like that word equanimity comes to mind when you say that. And I felt that same thing. Now I feel like as I walked in, it was like, yeah, there was people on either, I think they were helping. I think the people who needed to sit down were on the one side, and the other side were people who were able to walk through to walk through and give the identification. And I did feel that the volunteers were very positive and nice, and it wasn't, and they're in seeming to hold themselves in that light of equanimity. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was really neat.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really fitting, and I have to share, Johanna was so encouraging, like, yeah, let's do this, because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel after this full moon, and she's like,
Yeah,
let's do it, and I'm like, okay.
let's do it. Now I would say that the parking lot wasn't as equanimous or whatever. It wasn't. We were in the parking lot. It was. Well, my son was driving too, so that maybe that might have been a bit of it. No, but there was a lot. There was a lot of. Actually, now that I think about it, it's actually quite interesting because there was a lot of favor. There was a lot of just like a lot of activity in the parking lot, which
Mhm.
there wasn't a whole lot of activity because I think there was so much early voting that happened, as we talked about a little bit yesterday. There was so much early voting that happened that there wasn't a whole lot of it when we got in there to the space. But the parking lot was just full and there was lots going on, and so that was interesting. It was almost like this, this opposite
Yeah,
poles that were happening.
agreed.
So
Yeah, and you like walk in the door, and there's a little bit of chaos, but there's a lot of like calm, like, okay, step
Right.
over here, and then you go over here, and then you go over here, and then you put it in the thing, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, here's your sticker.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so
And then
neat.
you go outside and you're like, oh, don't hit me.
I
You know?
know. It's lots of going. I mean, I call it the crazies. I was like that. There was some crazies going. You know, when the full moon happens, the election. There's, you know, there's just
Oh,
now in
yeah.
the storm that's pending in Florida. There's like, I think there's just an air, and there's the wind was just lots of wind today. And this is really only our first real season that we've been. Well, we were here last year, but there wasn't like really any pending hurricanes necessarily last
Mm.
year. So yeah,
Yeah, we were
this
there
wind.
about this time last
Yeah, I
year.
think that you were. Yeah, absolutely. That you were because we were setting
Yeah,
up for the holidays
just
and
right
things.
after
And
Thanksgiving.
so yeah, and so it was in the storming that really, and I feel like that brings change, and so that's why I was really the Scorpio, and I'm a Scorpio, so my birthday was the end of last month, and so. And I always, you know, I have, that's my badge of honor, you know, my
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio being. But,
Yeah,
I mean, whenever I've read about the properties of a Scorpio, it's like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's cool, you
yeah,
know. But I
yeah.
think that this change, I do love change. I love things happening and going different places and doing different things. I can get complacent. All right, I don't like complacency. It's just like not my thing. But I think that this is what's happening this time of year, right? Like the leaves and everything's tumultuous and there's this wind and
Yeah.
change is happening.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I heard one way that Uranus conjoining the moon as shock absorption. And I thought that was really interesting. And this teacher was explaining it as the Uranus conjuncting the moon was giving us the opportunity to be able to be steady through the waves of chaos. And I thought that was really neat. I didn't hear that in, you know, any of my other teachers didn't have anything that good to say about this experience. But I liked that, the idea that this gives us the fortitude to
mm-hmm.
handle the chaos
Right,
that has to happen so that
right.
we can change.
Mm-hmm. And that's really this inner, and that really goes back to this light that we have, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, so this is where it's anchoring. The light is our anchor, and so
Mm-hmm.
and it's within all of us at all times. And so when it does get dark outside, in the metaphoric of, you know, getting dark everywhere, if you're feeling dark, we have that inner light, and to know that we have that, and that we can, you know, use that to change, or, you know, have that to shine on others, or ourselves. I mean, let's take care of ourselves first, put our
And
oxygen mask on first before we put on anyone else. So, yeah, which is, I think, is really important. And this time of year, you know, so we're going in these deep dark nights, and then out of Martinmas and out of this knowing, we go into, you know, the garden of light, which is the true light of the holiday of December. And so
mm,
we have a holiday spiral that we do with the garden of light, and we're going into that light in a different way. And so that's going to take us then throughout, until the rebirth, which is spring.
yeah. Oh, wow. So the Garden of Light, is that like one day or is that over a period of time?
It's been, I mean, there's different traditions, and the tradition of the Advent garden is, so there's a spiral of light, and the light just an evergreen boughs are used to form a spiral, and you
Mm.
walk into the spiral with a candle, and then you light the candle. So it's more of like going from the singular to the community. So you have
Mhm.
your light that you're spreading, and then you light a candle, which is, or you get the light from the candle, which is the community, and then you put your apple, you know, your candle with your apple in it, or your apple with your candle in it,
Mhm.
on the spiral path. And it signifies all of that, you know, the lighting of the path, the lighting of the community, and we build this garden of light. So we take it from the inner being and the I to the community,
Mhm.
and then that's preparing for, you know, however your beliefs are, but you're the feast of Christmas, and of, you know, of the spiritual symbolism that has been there.
Mhm. So are the Holy Nights a part of the Garden of Light then?
No, the Holy Nights are, it's like Christmas tide, so that the
Okay.
Holy Nights are after. So they start, well, they start on the 24th,
Right,
and they, oh,
right.
then the 20th, the 25th at night is when the Holy Nights start. And then they go into the 12 days
Hmm.
afterward.
Very cool.
And
Yeah,
that
that
sets
was like
your,
our goal last
yeah,
year. Do you remember that? We're like, we're gonna do the Holy Nights, and then we got
yeah,
busy, and life happens. But we might
absolutely.
be able to do it this
But we're
year.
gonna do it this year.
Yeah,
Yay!
that'll be
I've
fun.
I've already been reading it some, and I've seen some people put some things out there on, what kind of meditations to do during the holy nights. I mean, it's really something special to go within during those holy nights. And for me, it's changed throughout the years. Now it's going inward and sitting with a word, sitting with a thought, and then those building on each other throughout those nights. And then really when you come out of it in January at the Epiphany, which is the 8th, that's the January 8th. And so, or the 6th rather, the 6th. And you come out of it then, and then you have some really concrete ideas and goals really that you can then
Mm,
put
wow,
forward into the year. So that's how I like to, that's how now I bring it forth in
wow.
my spiritual, my meditative life.
That's
So,
really great. That makes me even more excited about it. And also, I found out that there's a full moon that day, January 6th. It's
oh
another
wow.
moon.
Okay,
And
that's cool.
yeah, so this teacher, she was talking about how this is like such a special time because usually the moon does not land on the same degree for each full moon.
Okay.
But so the last full moon was October 9th, and today is the full moon, and then every full moon through April, they all land on 16 degrees. And 16
Interesting.
degrees, if you do more of a numerological look at it, this teacher, Christopher Witecki, started this step astrology, he calls it,
Mm,
and it's like a numerology of the different degrees. And the 16
that's so
degrees
interesting.
stands for the spiritual essence.
Ah,
So
okay,
we're
that's really
yeah,
neat.
yeah,
Now, is
we're
that I was going to ask you. I was going to ask that. So every full moon, and those are okay. So well, there's many different aspects of the moon. I would imagine that the astrology, astrological look of it. But is
mhm,
it the same? So like we have the blood moon. Is it the same as it is this year? Is it going to be next year? As far as
mhm.
like where it's going to be and where Uranus, as you mentioned Uranus, and where all these different. Okay, so everything's always aligning in a different. It's always aligning differently. Okay. I mean, I
Yeah,
know it's a big question. I'm sure there's lots to say about that, but okay. So it's
that's
different.
a good
Okay.
question. No, that's a good question. Yeah, so it all depends on what's happening, where everything's at. Every time of year, it's in the same sign because
Right.
seasonally we are moving through the signs at the same time. But what else is going on in the sky, it can be very, very different.
Very different. Okay.
So, yeah, so the fact that this is landing every month through April on the 16th degree of that sign is really telling me that we're getting in touch with our souls, we're getting in touch with the divine and
Mm-hmm.
whatever names you have for it. Yeah, for this big energy that just can't be held by a name is the way I
That's
see
so
it,
neat.
you know?
So it's starting this next full moon or the in
No, it
December?
started last full moon.
Oh, it started. Oh, because we're already in that. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
So
Okay.
today we're at 16 degrees in Scorpio. The sun's at 16 degrees. And this morning, when the full moon was peaking, it was also at 16 degrees. And Uranus is at 16 degrees. So it was a conjunction. And
Mm,
that is pretty powerful considering Uranus is all about change. And if you think about what's going on with Florida and the hurricanes
yeah.
and the change, and Scorpio is
Yeah.
water, and Taurus is earth, and you've got the storm, and it's just like if that could be
Yeah.
an analogy for what this experience is like in the energetic world. And it's like we're all going to
Yeah.
get the wind coming through and cleansing
Mm-hmm.
us, and the rain and wetting the ground and making it really muddy, and you're trying to walk through it,
Yeah.
like, whoa, what do I do? What do I do?
Well, it's also, I mean, it's interesting that it's also an election time as well, this particular day. Because I mean, it just, I don't know, I'm just looking, thinking of I mean, change or, kind of, storming or whatever is happening, I don't know. It's exactly, I don't know
Totally.
what's exactly happening out there right now because I haven't been watching it, right, at the moment. But I think it's also might be telling, that's what comes to mind. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. So then is every month, okay, so the moon's at 16 degrees now. Is it a conjunction every month with other, with,
Yeah.
no?
No,
Okay,
not, I'd have to look, but no, because it'll
okay.
be moving a sign over, and so next full moon will be in Gemini, and Mars is there. So, but it won't be conjuncting Mars, or it might be because it is going backwards. So there's a chance. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, that's
But
just
yeah,
interesting
as it
because if
moves,
everything was 16 degrees, that would be like, that'd be
yeah,
really
yeah,
powerful. Okay.
that would be pretty powerful. But yeah, I think to look at this is, for me, I felt so in tune this morning in my morning meditation. Like I was
Mm.
so in tune. I was okay with my body not being cool. I got
Mm.
some pain, and I came back to my body and I was like, it's okay, body. I stretched my leg a little bit, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to go again. And I like pictured myself swimming out into
Oh,
space, and I swam out to space. I was out amongst the stars, and my body dissolved. I was only a star. I was this bright shining thing, and then I joined into like this unified field of a bunch of like star beings just kind of in
it
this
sounds so
wave
lovely. Take me
together.
along for the journey. It's like I can envision
I
myself there.
know, right? It was
That's
probably the best
cool.
meditation I've had in a long time. It
Wow.
was very like, I have an injury, and the injury
Hmm.
like lit up with energy, and it felt like it was gonna get better soonish. So
Hmm.
it just gave me a lot of trust for my body, which I don't have very much of. So I was like, okay, I can trust my body. I can
Yeah.
trust my mind to be with my body and when it needs to be, and leave it alone when it needs to. And so, yeah, I felt like this full moon really kind of ushered in this ability to get a glimpse of how connected I can be with my body and presence,
Hmm.
and healing. So it was a great little glimpse for me.
Well, it sounds lovely. I love that. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, we are self-healing beings, so that's
Yes.
definitely,
And
yeah.
trusting that, that's a huge
Trust, yeah,
thing.
trust you. Well, that's the thing. I mean, we are, it exists. I mean, it's, whatever you want to call it, science or not, but we are self-healing organisms. And I think that, yes, for us to believe that, to do the work and to believe it, I think is,
Yeah, that's the hard
that,
part.
that's the hard part, right? To do it and then also to believe. I mean, I guess either way is, challenging. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting because I did this I did 5K this weekend,
How'd
and
it go?
my birthday was the week before that, and so it was like there was a lot of these changes happening, and I usually, and I don't necessarily, I'm not like really a runner, but I do sprinting. So I sprint and I do sprinting and I do some crazy other, movement things. But I do like to challenge myself with with just all out running for, a 5K or something every now and again. And so it was interesting though, because afterwards, I don't usually get a lot of muscle soreness at first, but it usually happens about a day later.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't even so much the next day, but then I started getting this like this muscle stuff in my calves, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting because it was a new feeling for me. So my
Mhm.
first thought was like, oh wow, like what's going on? Like it doesn't feel right. Like this is weird, it's not, and then I kind of got into that space of like, yeah, I started did a little meditation, and I'm like, okay, I need to get into my body and it's okay. And, this is just, what it has to be for right now, and to relax it. And I mean, it helps when I get some amazing foot rubs and leg rubs from the hubbies. But yeah, but it's really interesting though, because it's such a different feeling and it's such a different, thing that was going on. And so I was like, huh,
Mhm.
that's interesting. So, taking it like, knowing that that was part of the process, part of the healing process, part of the, you know, the process of, well, if it's aging or whatever it is, it's happening. And
Yeah, totally.
so,
I think about that a lot. I've got a lot of Scorpio in my chart. I'm not a Scorpio sun, but I've
yeah.
got a lot of Scorpio, and so I kind of get intrigued by my older community, and just like watching the process and being like, am I going to be able to handle that?
Yeah.
Like,
And all the fun that comes with that.
some fun
Yeah.
now before I have to like deal with pain and
Yeah.
in a different way.
Right. Well, it's interesting too, because then I get very motivated and inspired when I see others, and others, and when we were doing this 5K, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm like, okay, I can do this. That's an inspiration, or I'll see something. And that's how I, was inspired by my handstands. My handstand practice when I started a couple of years ago. It was like, and she was young. I mean, it was a young friend. It was, it was a friend, it was a daughter of a friend. And she came over and she was spending time with us when we were in Tennessee. And she would just get up into these handstands. I was like, what is up? I'm like, that's so cool. I mean, of course she was a gymnast and she was, she had many years of practice, but I was like, I want to do that. I'm like, that's
No.
something that I want to do. So, but that's always fun, and there's some pain that comes with that as well. But we, just the change and the self healing, and the knowing that
Mhm.
we can
Knowing when to push
overcome.
it and when to not push
Hmm.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'll share just a little bit about how I meditate, and then we could
Yeah,
do a little meditation. The meditations that I do in the
absolutely.
morning now are about an hour long, sometimes
Okay.
longer. I use Insight Timer. It has a timer on it, and then I go to the timer and I set it up depending on how much time I have. I'll do 4 or 5 minute intervals, and the interval bell helps me know when to move to the next step in my meditation.
Mm.
So if I'm doing a chakra meditation, then I need at least 9 bells because there's 8 chakras. So usually, like, I try to fit in 11 bells so that I can do the chakras, the eighth chakra, see the energy around the body, pull myself into the unknown or like space,
Hmm.
and then go back to the heart and feel gratitude and imagine whatever I'm manifesting. So it's like a
Nice.
11-step process. And then I have a meditation playlist on Spotify called Meditation Music List by Jay. And that is approved music by me, and I'm very picky. And
And we
this
can
music
access that. Is that accessible to others? Okay.
is
Okay.
published. Yep. So
Okay.
if you just look up Meditation Music List by Jay,
Nice.
Jai, you'll find my list and you can use it too. And then I can play on Spotify and the timer at once. So I have the music I want to play with the timer. And then I put a eye cover on, and right now I'm dealing with an injury, so I just lay on the my yoga mat, and I got a bunch of pillows under my knees to take the pressure off,
Hmm.
and cover my eyes, put a blanket on, and just listen to the music and follow my guidance right now. So
Nice. And
that's
if anyone, when Jay is, when she's walking you through meditation, it's just the most amazing. We've done several meditations together, and I've listened to other meditations of yours, and it's like, it's amazing. So I know that the music and just your words and how you move through it is just amazing.
Yeah,
So,
thank you so much. Yeah, right now in La Crosse, I do a meditation group at Cooley Recovery at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays. And I know it's not such a great time, but it works out for me and the person I'm doing it with. And today I did a guided meditation and it was so good. And like one of the people was like, I wish I would have recorded that.
oh, do you record the sessions or no?
No.
No.
Not usually. I mean, on Insight Timer, sometimes I do, but I've stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to capture some of the things that come out of my mouth, but
Mm-hmm.
I haven't figured it out quite yet.
When we were working together, I remember writing like, okay, what was that, Jay? Okay, what was that? And I think we did. Did we record? I think we might have recorded. Yeah, I think you did record them. And so I would like write it down in my book. So I have to use those words because those are really great words
Oh,
together.
yeah. Yeah, thank
So
you.
it's
Yeah,
always so
so we'll
wonderful.
just, you want to do a little
Yeah,
meditation?
let's do it for sure.
Find the gong mallet. All right. So, taking a moment to just feel your breath. Notice how you inhale in your nose, and the breath moves down your throat into your lungs, exchanges into your blood, moves out to your fingers and toes and throughout your brain. And just breathing, exhaling fully and deeply, inhaling, watching the breath process. And now bending the breath awareness by bringing your breath, your inhale, directly to the tailbone region, and climb your breath awareness through the spine, through the brain to the very top of your head. And then exhale. So on your inhale, you're drawing your awareness from the root, the tailbone region, through the spine, through the brain to the top of the head. And then letting go, exhaling, releasing, emptying. And just continue with this focus, climbing your awareness up through the spine, from the bottom to the top, through the brain to the top of the head. Notice this sensation. What does it feel like to climb your breath awareness from the root to the crown? And bringing your awareness to the center of your chest, your heart chakra, and just noticing this energy center, paying 100% attention to your heart center. Noticing the subtle vibration of this energy center. Holding your awareness here by breathing into the heart center from the front through the back and exhaling through the back to the front. Just noticing what it feels like to pay attention to your heart center. And holding your awareness here for a few more breaths, becoming familiar with this energy. And in your mind's eye, seeing that light, that lantern, that flame at the heart center, and feeling this light in the darkness, showing the way. And calling to mind gratitude, gratitude for tuning in to that inner light within, gratitude for noticing the breath, just simply feeling gratitude. You can repeat in your mind the word thank you to help you build and expand on the feeling of gratitude. And letting this gratitude overflow your heart center, down into your fingers and your toes, up throughout every cell in your brain, sensing every cell, raising its vibration into gratitude. And bringing yourself back into this moment in the here and now, and bringing your awareness to the crown of the head, taking a few breaths in and out of the crown, recognizing this crown energy as a window into the soul, a window into the realm of divine. And now drawing this energy, the divine energy, down the spine on an inhale, from the crown, down the spine to the tailbone, and exhale, sending it down the legs, through the feet, roots down to the earth. Inhale through the crown, down the spine to the tailbone. Exhale through the legs, the feet, roots into the earth. And one more time. And now reversing your focus, inhale up the roots, draw up that earth wisdom through the legs, and exhale into the heart center, planting that earth wisdom. Inhale up the roots, the legs, the torso. Exhale, planting earth wisdom into the heart. And one more time. And gently opening your eyes and gazing forward, drawing the sensation of peace, gratitude, serenity, drawing it into this moment, into your waking moment. And we're back.
And we're back. That was lovely.
Thank you.
So beautiful. I really love the breathing at the very end, that flow. It was interesting because it was a very for me it seemed a little at first it was like it was counterintuitive. It was like wait, I shouldn't be going up when I should be going no breathing in and going down, and it was sort of like it didn't seem to flow. And then when you went to the taking it from the earth into the heart with the seed, then it like really started. It was like whoosh, it really came very much in a beautiful flow, and it was like, whoa, okay, very grounding.
Yeah.
It was really lovely.
Yeah, I love that grounding focus. And it's interesting. I actually learned from experience that you can breathe down too much.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like I had a physical repercussion of that, and I saw an acupuncturist, and she was helping me deal with what I was experiencing. And I told her, I've been doing all this grounding breath, and she's like, you need to bring it up too. And I was like, oh
yeah, for sure.
That's how I ended up figuring out how to plant it into the heart and bring it up the roots and kind of ground the grounding,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was yeah, that's really neat. It's also different, like I have socks on, and it's like when I feel that when I have that just a barefoot to the floor, it also has a different feeling to it as well.
Yeah.
There's all these little nuances of it. But see, everybody, this is what I mean when Jay walks you through a meditation is wonderful. So when else are you on Inside Timer? Are you on Inside Timer on a schedule these days?
Yeah, I'm on there on Wednesday and Friday at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. And Monty's on there at Monday at 8:30 a.m.
Awesome. And just tell us a little bit about Heart Mind Center also before we say good night.
But yeah. So the Heart Mind Center for me is an avenue of really trying to be on that even playing field. We're not trying to make a profit or anything like that. We want to have an even energy exchange that changes the world. Mm-hmm. So we're creating, we've created a spirituality and wellness center. Right now it's all virtual, and we're about to get I'm pretty sure we're going to get our 501c3 approval letter any moment. I've been talking, with the IRS agent, and everything seems good. So it's just a matter of time, really, and then we get to really move forward. And one of our goals is to do in-person events in different cities, and we're starting in La Crosse. We're talking with the People's Food Co-op if you're in the La Crosse area, and we're going to use that community room, and it's going to be open to the public by donation. You can pay or you cannot pay. And it'll be a solid experience, the Heart Mind Center experience, which we do in Madison in the summer. And it basically looks like a little bit of music, a little bit of Qigong. Monty shares about the mind and the subconscious mind. And then I lead a meditation and he plays the gong. And then we have like a little discussion afterwards. So that'll be about a 3-hour dealio. And I can't give a date because I don't know when it is, but that'll be our launch into in-person events. Yeah.
And maybe I'll come visit I'll come make my appearance, my guest appearance.
That would be so cool. Or
It'd be fun.
I would love to plan something in Jacksonville and get to come and see you again.
Absolutely.
I
And
think
for those of you who haven't heard, listened to Monty and him talking about the subconscious, the unconscious, the mindfulness is just, it's incredible. So you should, find him on the Heart Mind Center. There's YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, and it's just lots of really amazing things. And this mindfulness path in every aspect of our life it's amazing. It's just so eye-opening, and it's so nurturing.
Mindful living.
Mindful living.
That's how I see it, is how can we live as mindfully as possible, and honoring things like Martinmas is along those lines. How do we honor the different traditions that bring us into that mindful presence within ourselves? So thank you for bringing that today. I really appreciate that. I love doing these things with you. So
yeah, this is so fun. Thank you, Jay. You're amazing. And it's been fun doing this. It's been outside of my comfort zone, so this has been really fun for me. So I love it. And I'm just like, yeah, let's do more. Let's do more.
oh, that's
Let's
so
go
awesome.
live. Let's be out there. So yeah, so I'm excited about it. So, and yeah, so we're gonna well, I'd love to plan something for the Holy Nights, and if we either do something at the very beginning where we're just setting a mood for the whole entire time, or maybe just checking in maybe ever have a short meditation, maybe every night of the Holy Nights for 15 minutes or something.
That's interesting.
So stay tuned. Yes.
Yeah, stay tuned. Oh, and if you would like to know more and stay in touch, you can go to theheartmindcenter.org and sign up for our community newsletter, and consider joining a membership. Check out our podcast, Mindflow Radio. It comes out every month, and our last one just came out, so there's a freshie out there. It's anywhere you listen to podcasts.
And you can subscribe to the newsletter. Did you say that already? Okay,
yeah.
Subscribe to the newsletter.
Yeah, but it's great to cover it twice.
Yes. So just put your email in and get the newsletter, and lots of good information there as well. So
yeah. All righty. Well, okay. I wish you great luck on the storm ahead and riding these Uranus waves. And many blessings to you, sending much love to you and the family.
Yes. And to you too, and to all those watching and out there. Namaste.
Namaste, Satnam.
Satnam. Aho.
Blessings.